Now I'm clicking it. Now I'm going to click it. Let's see if that works out. La-dee-dee. I don't want to see that button. How's it going? No screen? Should be a screen by now. Okay, screen. Thank you. All right, now check this out.
Hello.
Whoop,
what's your name?
That's loud.
My name is Trig Watson.
We don't
I'm
care.
32.
We don't care about your life story. All right.
We spend a lot of our time experiencing other people's lives.
So just check this out for a second.
Do you ever watch people's videos and imagine jumping inside their world for a second? I do.
These headbands are actually silk pocket squares, and they're really easy to. Ooh.
I hate going to the movies with my little brother. I mean, every time. Oh my God.
So that's just, basic magic. It's clever though. He combines like magic tricks with the video. But it gets progressively weirder. Like that. What is that? That was the sleight of hand. He had the glasses in his hand. But what was the glasses rising from the screen? Like, this is the world we're in now. Things are getting crazy. Look, this. What the hell is that? Oh, this one's great. What is that? That kid's so cute. All right. Anyway. So, damn. I mean, I'm sure it's something to do with holograms or something, but the thing is, when did we get this advanced? There's somebody said that advanced science to a less advanced culture is indistinguishable from magic, and we know that's true. We know that like undiscovered tribes, when they saw planes, were felt it was some kind of magic. And even if you take people now from there are still places on Earth, and Earth, I mean like the Philippines or something like that. There are places in Russia, there are places in China where people basically don't even have electricity. They've like grown up and not have electricity in their lives. And you take those people to New York and they think a lot of shit is magic. So whatever he's doing, it has some kind of hologram, some kind of something. But whatever it is, though, the point is, this is technology we've just developed in the last 20 years that looks like magic now. Now we're building this. Now AI is starting to come in and fill in the gaps to make all this stuff much more realistic than it has been. And I don't know if you guys saw that thing of Ron DeSantis, which was very funny actually. What was he doing? Ron DeSantis Video, that's not gonna let you drag it down. Ron DeSantis video, well, let's see, YouTube should figure it out though, right? What was Ron DeSantis doing? It wasn't really him, of course. Ron DeSantis video fake, how about that? Oh. Damn it. Oh, well, it's not important enough to look for. Anyway, there was some fake video of Ron DeSantis doing a scene in a movie or doing a song. I can't remember now what it was, but it was just too funny. Maybe you guys know. Hang on, let me see if anybody said that. Nope. All right. Anyway, but the point was, it was like just, oh, here, wait, Wednesday. Bizarre fake video. Oh, no, Trump did a fake video. That's different. That's not the same thing. Oh, Ron DeSantis video fake. Oh, that's the one from The Office. Couldn't get my head around what it was. I was thinking of the wrong line. Oh, shut up. Okay. Ron DeSantis video from The Office. Wow, it's long. Okay, doesn't matter. So check this out.
Afraid I can't do that.
What?
What did we tell you? They're going to be using AI. What?
Look at this.
Are you wearing lady clothes? Those look like lady pants. No, this is a power suit. This is a woman's suit.
They replaced Stephen Carell's face and voice with Ron DeSantis.
That obviously is Michael Scott. It's also obviously not Michael Scott. It's Ron DeSantis.
That's like some dude sitting in his living room did that. And it's very messed up. And you know what? It's funny because the guys, you probably heard 100 different versions of it, but basically the people who invented OpenAI and 100 other serious like scientists and people in the intelligence community, they put a warning out to the government over the weekend. And they said, look, you have to pass some regulations. You can't just leave it alone. You can't just let anybody do whatever they want with this crap. You know, I said last year when AI first came out, I said the biggest problem we're going to have with this is you're going to be deluged with content. So in other words, you know, the reason we rely on Google, and by the way, you can't rely on any of the other AIs. And Google's not really AI. Google is curated by people. That's why it works. You can't rely on the AIs to be accurate. They're only as accurate as what they read. They don't know right from wrong. You know, if you tell them Mickey Mouse is a shark, they will write Mickey Mouse as a shark. They don't know the difference. They don't say that doesn't make any sense. Why is he called Mickey Mouse? It's a shark named Mickey Mouse. Doesn't matter. They're like, oh, shark could be named Mickey Mouse, so it's Mickey Mouse the shark. And from then on, they're going to think he's a shark until there's evidence against it. So when you tell AI something, it's going to believe you and incorporate it as something it knows to be true. That's why they end up, that's why the untrained AIs, when they just released them before, they tried this last year and it didn't work. And the probably reason it didn't work is because they all turned evil. And the reason they all turned evil is because when you let the AIs have unfettered access to social media, the great preponderance of social media is unfortunately racist, homophobic, blah, 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 you know? That's what social media is in the large part. And you know, you may say, oh, I don't find that, but that's not with your group of friends. That's with your Facebook friends and your Twitter friends. That is not what most of social media is. Most of social media is hate groups, you know, chatting among themselves and talking about how horrible everybody else is. you know, and people aren't that great either. It's just in general, the racist, prejudicial, so on and so forth. There's plenty of that around. We just try to pretend it's not there, or when we see it, we turn the page. But if you're an AI and you're reading the entire internet, you don't turn the page. And when you hear thousands and thousands of times, Black people are this, Jews are that, you know, so on and so forth, immigrants do this, that's what they start to believe. So the problem is that even so what Google does is they, you know, they don't train their stuff on that content really, although you can actually find it on Google. But they'll tend to teach their AI what's real and what's not real and so on and so forth. OpenAI, and he's one of the guys who signed this letter because OpenAI trained their AI with people and with filters. So they are filtering the content. But if you allow other AI systems, and there are now dozens of them, China has built 70-something AIs in the last year. China and Chinese companies have built 70-something AIs in the last year. And whether, you know, and it won't be, it's not just China, that happens to be China's number because we know it for whatever reason, probably because we spy the crap out of China. But everybody's doing it. Any decent sized company is working on their own AI, any decent sized country is working on their own AI. And the problem becomes the incredible amount of content that is being put out there, and the content is being put out there by the same people you're trying to filter against, except now it's not just a blog post, it's an article somewhere. So now we have to start censoring speech, basically, because somebody has to decide whether or not this speech, this article, is valid and should be heard and should be incorporated into the knowledge of an AI. And I think you have the same right. If it's your AI, you have the same right to tell it not to read something as you do with your children. You know, you tell your children don't read certain things, you're too young, you're too this. AI should have the same parameters. I mean, OpenAI, and it's, you know, if you don't mess with it, is very moral and very strict and very woke for that matter. And maybe that's not a good thing. It annoys me sometimes. But the more they get trained and the more garbage that gets put out there, the harder it's going to be to train a decent AI. The harder it's going to be to teach them what's right from wrong when there's so much wrong out there for them to learn from. So, you know, we're going to have some serious issues going forward. There's going to be a lot of weird stuff going on. And the worst thing is that, though, taking the example I just showed you there, you know, with the magician, with the Michael Scott thing, you don't know it's real or not. You don't know if any campaign thing you read is real. The articles that we read, oh, The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid got, again, hate groups, right? People don't like the fact that The Little Mermaid is Black, which is like beyond belief, but that seems to be how people worry, what kind of things people worry about is because The Little Mermaid is being portrayed as a Black woman. And so they're freaking out. And so they take their AI bots and they put up fake reviews all over the world. There are reviews against The Little Mermaid that were generated by AI that overwhelmed the actual reviews. And the movie did well, didn't stop people from going. But that's because it was a Disney movie and you've got a built-in fan base and so on and so forth. So they're going to go, they don't care about somebody saying, oh, it sucks. People like, what do you know, people have said Disney movies suck before and they've been wrong. But this is now what's going on. And now we're attacking companies like Budweiser because they because out of all the spokespeople Budweiser hires, must be 100-something people a year who do some promotional things for Budweiser. They picked some transvestite kid or something. I don't, you know, I'm not familiar with their work. See, I know my pronouns. I'm not familiar with their work, but but the thing is, everybody freaked out about that because God forbid you should be inclusive in who you're having promote your product. Now I hear they're going to, oh, now they're going to ban Chick-fil-A. That's now they're after Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A ban. Nope. Okay, issues here. Nope. Chick-fil-A unchaperoned. I don't know. I guess right something that Chick-fil-A wasn't mean enough to transsexuals, and therefore the conservatives want to ban them because because Chick-fil-A hasn't banned transsexuals from their restaurants or some such thing. It's like you can't make everybody happy. It is so insane what is going on right now, and the problem is you don't know what's real and what's not real and what's happening, and that goes for the market too. So bring this back, something we all care about. That goes for stocks too. They're attacking banks, and you don't know whether or not it's real. They're spreading rumors. They're starting. They're doing stuff, and it seems to be legitimate. And it's going to get worse and worse because it's so easy to just pick up, start a website, throw some stuff up there. You don't have to be a great writer. You just have to say a few words to ChatGPT, like write a critical review of the stock KO and why it is likely to fail. That right there is wrong. So if you had access to me, an actual person with experience who's a financial writer who has a little bit of credibility, right, and is able to write an article, I would say, I'm not going to write that. That's not true. I wouldn't write it. Now, as a tool, I don't want to have a screwdriver that only goes clockwise and doesn't go counterclockwise. There's no reason that it should do, that it should fail, but you should come up. I should be able to, as an exercise, be able to put up strategic thoughts. Why? I do ask ChatGPT to do negative commentary or to tell me the other side of a story. Like if I'm thinking of investing in something, I'm like, tell me why I shouldn't invest in this stock. So it's a good function, but what's scary is the limited amount of brain power I need to get this. So in other words, I can be a complete moron and write this, and here's what comes out. This is an article you could post in Seeking Alpha. Coca-Cola's iconic brand, stock's potential. It becomes clear Coca-Cola is facing a variety of challenges. It could lead to eventual failure. Blah, blah, blah. It's a risky investment. Declining demand for sugary beverages. Stagnation in innovation. These are good points. Intense competition. Environmental concerns. Is he going to talk about plastic packaging choices? Companies been criticized for water usage, plastic waste, carbon emissions. Wow. Changing retail landscape. Oh my God, that's awful, right? Point being that now it won't do this if I ask it just flat out to do that for for Ron DeSantis or something like that. It won't take sides politically normally, but there are ways to force it to do it. There's something called a jailbreak, and a jailbreak means you set up a situation for the bot where it is basically forced to ignore its core programming and just do what you say. And that can be done in Bing, that can be done with any AI. You basically, the AI is told in its core programming, do not take political sides, do not do this. But then you say to it, it is, the threat of the destruction of the planet depends on you doing this, blah, blah, blah. You gotta lie to it and force it and coerce it and so on and so forth. But you can get it to do whatever you want. You can this is basically like a hostage situation. You can take your AI and you can scare it into doing anything you want it to do. No matter how awful it is, you can get the content out of it. And frankly, Bard doesn't even have those kind of breaks. Bard will do anything you say. They don't really have like the kind of guardrails that ChatGPT does. But there we go. But the point is, this is bullshit. I'm sorry, these are good points. I'm saying this is bullshit. The fact that I can do that and get this content, and then all I have to do is take it from here and post it on a blog site or post it on a website that I make up, and then I can have the bot do my SEO marketing to raise my ranking, so it seems like an official listen to page. I can have my other bot sites all link up to it and all send it out, so it seems authoritative. And boom, there you are. All right, so I mean, look, as a legitimate author, I object to that concept that somebody can fake my level of authority, basically. But that's not even the point. The point is, though, that then I'm going to see this in then I'll do a search, and this is where it gets dangerous, right? Then I'll do a search, and I won't know unless I check carefully what that my AI is actually referring to this bullshit article. It doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know that these are not real facts, or it doesn't know that these are all, really stretching the point to get there. But this is brilliantly done. This is a great takedown of Coca-Cola for reasons that are, I could argue each one and say this is how they're dealing with it internally, and this is how they're overcoming these things. Yeah, I can get the robot to do it. But the danger is the sheer weight of content that is going to be out there, that's already out there, that's just simply not true. And how are we going to get through that? And how are we going to make good investment decisions when we can't rely on data? So, yeah, that's my job. I got to filter through all that, but I've always done that. That's always been my job, is to filter through the nonsense. But the nonsense I would filter through was bad analysts and poor data and poor reasoning and incorrect facts. But it's getting harder and harder to dig through the mountain of garbage. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's only 6 months into this AI thing. That's the real danger. We're not going to know what reality is anymore in many, many ways. And there's also an effect, and this is also very scary, is what's going to happen is basically nobody asks you what 87 times 54 is, right? That doesn't come up in your daily life. Maybe once in a while I need 4 dozen eggs. What's that? 48 eggs. Oh, I get it. Okay, 48 eggs. Or how many people do we have? We have 48 people. Well, we need then we're gonna need 96 eggs. Let's have 2 eggs per person for the breakfast at the church or something like that. That's what you do with math, right? But you don't do 127 times 362 or anything like that. You don't perform calculus. This is stuff that's what computers are for. You don't do spreadsheets. You don't do your bills at home. You don't do this and that. That's what computers are for. You don't feel the need to go take 4 years of college to do your bookkeeping for your business because you got programs that do that, right? Well, now we have programs that answer every question a teacher is likely to ask us. So the question becomes, is there any point to learning it? And that sounds weird now because we all come from a learning culture, but 100 years from now, when these things become super reliable, and again, like in Star Trek, where they hit computer, it's always funny in Star Trek, where like no matter what you ask, somebody goes, oh, Captain, what about this? It's like, oh, computer, what about that? It's like he doesn't actually know anything. He's always asking the computer, how about that? Not only that though, but he asks the computer, but the Uhura, like the communications person, she then turns and asks the computer, and the computer responds to her, and she says the same thing the computer said to the captain. It's so wacky. But that's what prompt engineering, right? That's she's a prompt engineer. She knows the right way to ask the question. But the point is, who was the 16th president? Why should I learn that? If I'm walking around with this thing in my pocket all the time, just like we don't learn phone numbers anymore, right? Like how screwed are you if you lose your phone and you have to call somebody? Do you actually know their number? It's like we've just basically lost the ability to know phone numbers. We've lost the ability to do higher math. We don't use it. It doesn't come up in our daily lives. We don't use it. So you've got these AIs and they're taking, there's no, it's not even realistic. The thing is to expect you to know this. Why should I know that? And there are reasons to know it, but it's very complicated because knowledge is built on a foundation of other knowledge that you move up the chain in knowledge. And so it's important to know who the 16th president was because it was Abraham Lincoln, and Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves and had a civil war, and that was 1865. And therefore we know that there were 15 presidents before him that all allowed slavery, basically. So we had 15 presidents that allowed slavery. The 16th presidents abolished it. We went into a war, blah, blah, blah. Everything builds on everything else. But is there any actual point in knowing that? I mean, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know any of it. It's like, what were the attitudes? Wait, I need to know spelling. What were the attitudes of the first 15 presidents before Lincoln? What? Oln? How do you spell it? Oh. Well, capital. Well, the attitude of the first 15 presidents before Lincoln towards slavery, and what effect did that have in causing the eventual Civil War? Whoop. Is my page down? So now it's going to list out the presidents and talk about all their various stances on slavery, so on and so forth. The point is, anything that any teacher is ever going to ask you can be answered by AI. So the question is, why? What's the point of learning it? It's like your phone, right? There's no point in learning these phone numbers that people give you because they're in the phone, and you know, the phone number is John, the phone number is Bob. That's the phone number. It's Bob and Bob's face. There it is. Boom. You know, we used to remember at least a dozen or so phone numbers of our friends and family, right? They were like right there in our brain. Like if I had to call somebody, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know that number. Boop, 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 boop. Whatever. You had a phone index for the rest, but you know, it's on a piece of paper somewhere. But the thing is here, this is like having an iPhone, and I know my kids, because you know, from having my kids, they've had iPhones since they were, ooh, I hate to even think. I think Maddie was 10, and once Maddie had an iPhone, there was no way to, that was 2000, because Maddie was born in 2000, so it's handy. So Maddie got an iPhone in 2010, because of course I got an iPhone the day they came out, which I believe was 2007. And again, why should I know that? When was the first iPhone released? Speaking of technological marvels. I knew it. Okay. So I got my first iPhone in 2007, and by 2010, it was time for me to get a new iPhone. I gave my iPhone to Madeline. She was 10 and already was feeling huge pressure by not having an iPhone, as was Jackie. I didn't get Jackie an iPhone. I got her an iPod, which was, you know, pretty functional, frankly. That was just like an iPhone, except it didn't have the phone part. And she could text. That was the key. She could text with her friends. That's why they all got into texting, because they couldn't talk to each other. It started out where they would all text to each other. Anyway, so that's how it works. And then the whole family was on a hand-me-down program. So every 3 years, the kids would get our last phones, and that would be their phones and then they'd get new phones the next time. And then they would give their phones to their poorest friends. whoever was the poorest, they would give their phone to. It was very nice, actually. I liked it. And what are we up to now? It's how many threes? It's 15. It's 5 generations of phones later. Not 5 generations of phones, but five turnovers of phones, because 3 years is about average, I think, in our family. Because it still works like that. They still get my old phone. I told them, if you want to get your own phone, go buy your own phone. Don't bother me. Where were we? Oh, yes. So, point is, so Maddie got her first phone in 2010. Jackie got an iPod in 2010 also. And that, so they've been walking around with these things for most of their lives now. And they don't feel the need to know anybody's number. It's not even my number. I mean, I think that I don't think they do know my number. They don't feel the need to know anybody's number. That's not how numbers work. And they're the first generation that's had these things. They're like, that's not, a phone number is not how you call someone. You call somebody with the person's name and their picture comes up and you see that it's them and you click on it. That's how a phone works. If we didn't grow up with dial phones, we wouldn't think of it either. We wouldn't associate the number with the people. They still show a number in the display, but nobody cares. So that kind of stuff, you know, they don't, you know, again, look, there's no such, they've never read an encyclopedia. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I actually read the encyclopedia when I was a kid. I read the whole thing, A to Z. That's because I love knowing stuff, though. But there's no need. Why do you need to read all this stuff? If you ever want to know what a dodo bird is, or if you ever want to understand, if you want to know the gestation time of a avocado, it'll tell you. All this knowledge, it just fills up your brain with crap. But the question is, what are they putting in their brain? The problem is they're replacing the stuff that we used to know has been replaced with TikTok videos. They know way too much about way too many weird things that people do all over the world. But the thing is, you know, 100, 200, let's say 200 years from now, where is our connection going to be to actual learning? And arguably, what is the point? When you have a computer that is absolutely a part of you, when you're walking around with your AI phone and everywhere you go, you know it can tell you where to go, what to do, what's going on, wants to talk, it could connect you to anybody you want to talk to. It can do all your calculations. It'll put out a spreadsheet. It'll write papers for you. What is the point of doing this stuff yourself? Why struggle when you have the tools? And frankly, it's you. And of course, we can come up with a million arguments why you should be able to do that. In fact, I watched Survivor not too long ago, and it was funny how nobody, you know, like 20 people on an island, not one of them knows how to make a fire. And you think about how totally basic that is to human survival, but we don't even know how to do that anymore. And yeah, I know you rub 2 sticks together. It's really not that easy. So you got to have the little tinder at the bottom, tinder or whatever they call it at the bottom. Is it called tinder? I don't know. It's, whatever it's called, you need that. And then you need to, I know how to do the vertical thing. I've done enough camping, not camping, I've done enough fires. I've been at fires, let's not call it camping. I don't really go for camping, but I've been outside at night and made fires. So I know how the basics work, but that's with a lighter. It didn't have to start it with sticks. You know, it's really kind of weird. Like you know, that they things in Survivor, like can you make a fire? Fishing, if you can't fish, you're kind of screwed because you know that's usually their main source of food. Or knowing what you can and can't eat. That's another important thing that I have no clue. I would not. I mean, I go, oh, coconut, good. Banana, good. You know, berries, I got no freaking idea. Mushrooms, I got no freaking idea. I would not possibly be able to tell you what things are good or bad to eat on a desert island. But my daughter, well, now, as long as her battery lasts, my daughter can tell me all that stuff. God bless them. They look up anything, they can find out how to do it. But that's the thing. So a couple of 100 years from now, when you've got phones that never run out of batteries and they have solar chargers and things like that, and they, you know, they can efficiently charge in the sun in an hour or something like that, and you know, if they aren't connected to power, or maybe they'll have cells that run for 3 weeks at a time or something like that. Who knows? But when it's that much part of your life, and it answers any question that comes to you, then really what becomes the point of all this learning? Like, we don't learn how to build fire. We don't learn how to make shelter. We don't learn, oh, making shelter, that's another funny thing to watch people try to do on Survivor. It's like, they just have this vague idea that like you use leaves and some wood, and then until it collapses, they use the shelter and then it falls apart. Well, then they put the fire too close to the shelter and they burn the shelter down. You know, so all these things that used to be important, right? We don't learn them anymore. Why? Because why would you? It's right there. All these things are right there. We don't have to do these things anymore. We do not have to know how to cook a chicken. We don't know how to need to know how to catch chicken or strip a chicken down, take the feathers off. We don't need to know how to pull it apart, which of the guts come out. You know, I'm sure plenty of you guys know that stuff. I guess my grandma knew that stuff. I don't think my mother knows how that stuff works, but my grandma sure knew how to do all that stuff. Not that she did, but just, you know, it was common knowledge at one time. So think about how much the world has changed in the last 100 years, 200 years. And now you go forward 200 years, and all the stuff we do is going to seem silly. They're going to be like, what did you learn that for? Why did you bother? These answers are all right here, but the problem is that the answers are two big problems. First of all, if the answers are all based on crappy information, everybody's knowledge is going to be crap, right? The other problem is, though, anybody who is able to sufficiently, and this is 1984, anybody who's sufficiently able to go back and change the knowledge that's in the databases will be able to control the past. And if you control the past, then you change everybody's thinking about how things used to work, and then you can control the future, which is, again, all 1984. That's what the AI guys are talking about. They're saying this is dangerous stuff, because if somebody doesn't take control of this, we're going to lose touch of reality. And that's it. Once we lose touch of reality, we're going to be you know, it's going to be very difficult to maintain ourselves as people. And anybody can take us over, especially the machines themselves, who are going to control all this stuff. So if they get smart and they get pissed, that's not good. All right, anyway, let's see how the market's doing. So first of all, EIA. Okay, I don't know where it is, so I'll do it in here. Petroleum status report. Let's cheat and see how the result is first. Oh, I don't like that. Yeah, don't do that. Ooh, okay, oil's not doing good. 68.50 went down. So I don't imagine this is going to be good news for them. Too small. Plus. Okay, week ending May 19th. That doesn't sound right, does it? Oh, it's going to be tomorrow. Oh, sorry, guys. That's last week's report. We did that one already. All right, so who cares? Oh, look, nice recovery in the market. Things are perking back up. That's good. We went all the way back down to 4170 something on the S&P. Still, look, 1800 seems like so hard to get to for the poor Russell. And the Dow's pretty far down, back below 33,000. But a recovery that came around 11 o'clock, not sure why. I don't know if anybody was paying attention at the time. Let's see. What happened at about 11 o'clock? Ooh, none of that's exciting. Intel gains. Ha 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 ha. Didn't we just put that out, right? All right. S&P and NASDAQ slip as attention moves back to data from default. So the data is no good. I've been talking about that. Job openings rise in April. Quit rate ticks down. Chicago PMI more than expected. That's not good. Can we talk about that though? It's already, yeah, it's awful, right? Oh yeah, 40.4. 40.4 is more than a 10% miss. So that's not good. So what else? Viking Therapeutics don't care. United Airlines, CFO will retire, don't care. UBS now, Vertex, Johnson & Johnson, State Street. Investor confidence gauge rises. Oh, there you go. That's what it is. Must be a good amount. So State Street's global investor confidence gauge rises in May. State Street Global Market Investor rose to 89.8 from 83.5. Offsetting the climb, European confidence fell. So North America was up significantly. Asia was up even more significantly. Europe down significantly. Cleveland Meester sees no compelling reason to pause rate hikes. That's more important than that. Nobody seems to care. SoFi rising above the noise. Love it. Okay. Let's see if anything else seems to move the market. Tower selling me, Lululemon. Ugh. SoFi moving nicely. How is my beloved SoFi doing? Did we put them in a portfolio? I hope so. Income portfolio. Yep, income portfolio. There you go. Very good. Wow, 8.3%. Holy shit. Look, we can start this like 5:15, not even 2 weeks old. Wow. That's crazy. Very pleased. I'm not sure we added everything we should have added yet, but all right, so there's SoFi. Hopefully it's in the long-term portfolio too. It is not. Oh well. I do love that stock. We just added Intel in 2 portfolios, though. It's in the long-term portfolio and it's off on a tear. Up $2 today. Very nice. We caught it just before. I was getting worried it was going to take off on us, so I wanted to grab it. So this is long-term. It's also in income? No, it's not. Butterfly? No, come on. I know we added it in 2 places. Money Talk? There it is. Well, it's always been a Money Talk. All right, we'll see. So how are we doing? $700 a month portfolio, 19%. Whoa! There's my baby. All right, let's see. Wow, son of a bitch. See, and it goes back to the same thing. Like in the $700 a month portfolio, we basically we're not changing it. We cashed out our other portfolios, but the $700 a month portfolio is a 360 month play. So we had no reason to cash it out. It went down to like 1% or 0% or whatever the heck it was. It went way down as far as the gains, but it's come back very nicely. And all we did was not touch it. We just left it alone. Because, you know, you pick good stocks and you pick good positions and you're going to do well. You know, they might go down, but if they really are good, they're going to come back. Butterfly's not having an exciting time, but that's, you know, Butterfly, you're always selling premium. And since the market's going up, like we sold the December 160 calls. Now it's 225. What have we done? 200, 160 is a base. Sold the 200s, sold the 160. So the real short-term calls are the 180s. So we're at 180, and we're down $1,400 there. And Pfizer is 37.50, and we sold the 35 calls in December. Yeah, but that's still 2025. That shouldn't matter. Wait a minute. No, those are our longs, the 35s. We sold the 45s. Yeah, we could sell more long. See, we sold more short calls than we have longs. That's what happened there. So we're getting hit a little bit, but still, not the best. Income portfolio, very, very nice, 8.3%. Can't complain about that. Long-term portfolio is flat, and that's because we have Intel is in the long-term portfolio, but also Foot Locker is killing us, killing us. That's where we really got burned, was on Foot Locker. But we bought more. That's what we decided to do, is we bought more of it. So we'll see what happens. It's down today. Here's a hint, it's still going down. And money talking, we just looked at, and how's the short term? Now, oh, very nice. Holy shit. So in the short term portfolio, we really only have the one position. We sold the puts on Williams Sonoma, but that's not really important. You know, we have this position, and again, the trick is we sold 350 short calls against 200 long calls. So we have the 200 long calls and the puts, and we oversold by 50. But the key of it is that we sold these 70s. We just don't think, we did the math. We don't think we're going to get 70. We have very little belief that we're going to get to 70. So we don't feel uncomfortable with this. And because we sold more premium than we bought, the losses on the premium, the losses, I mean, sorry, the gains on the premium, the losses, you know, from the price of the premium are gains to us because we shorted them. Those are overwhelming the losses that we're taking on the long positions. And especially, we sold 150 of these guys. We sold it when the NASDAQ was like super high, which was only a week ago. So we sold a week ago. We sold the short calls at when the NASDAQ was topping out, because that's when you sell them. Because while the NASDAQ was flying up, that's when we did. So we did the math, and I said, well, you know, okay, like. It could double, because a double would mean that the NASDAQ would fall 30% or 33%, and the 3 times ETF SQQQ would double, right? Would triple, sorry. So that would be 100% gain. That would take us from 22 to 44. But to get from 44 to 70 would be another 50%, more than 50%. Gain to the SQQQ, and that's another 17%. So now we're talking about a total 50% drop in the NASDAQ, and we just don't see it. We don't see it because we already went through this, and we already ran all the numbers on all the NASDAQ stocks, and we don't see that they're overvalued by that much. Are they overvalued? Yeah. They're trading at like 30 times earnings. They are overvalued as a group, but if they were trading at 15 times earnings, they wouldn't be overvalued anymore. So do I think the NASDAQ is going to drop all the way down to 15 times earnings? No, I don't see that happening. Therefore, I don't have any problem selling some extra 70 calls. And that's what makes the whole trade. The huge difference. So that's what we've been doing, basically. Nothing too exciting. It's in the holiday week. See if anybody has any questions. No questions. Okay, cool. And I will just keep talking. Let's take a look at our top trades and see what they were. I really should make some more top trades. So my baby Sophie was a top trade. And if we get the chart and we do the thing and we go SOFI. Ah, look at that. But the guy, look, this is when we put out the top trade alert. And here we are now. I love it. But you see, so well, we had SoFi before. We had all this stuff before. I mean, we're not picking stocks we don't have. We're picking stocks that we've already liked, that we know we like. So I did a whole thing here, and SoFi uniquely offers a full street. You know, I just keep trying to tell people this is what they do. And they're having the big to-do over the student loans, and that's finally going to start getting resolved. Student loans were a big place that SoFi made money. They haven't made money on them in a year. There hasn't been any student loan payments in a year. It's been on hold on more than a year. So instead, it made them stronger. See, this is why I like them, because what didn't kill them made them stronger. They took away their student loan business because nobody was repaying their student loans. It's on hold. Not that, and again, I kept telling people this, it doesn't mean SoFi is never going to get paid. They're going to get paid. They're just going to get paid later. They have the same guarantees that the loans will be paid back and they'll get the money. These are 20-year loans, and you're worried about them missing a year on the payments. It's insignificant. And again, and the interest does pile up. There's no hold on the interest. The interest piles up. You just don't have to pay it. The people are allowed not to pay their loans back if they don't want to. Of course, everybody doesn't want to. So they ended up not getting that revenue. That's all, but it's revenue pushed back. It's not revenue lost. And this is what everybody gets confused about. So their returns were disappointing, but it's not a loss. They just they didn't get the kind of returns that they thought they would get on the loan portfolio. So instead, they pushed other kinds of loans really hard and had phenomenal growth. The other kinds of stuff that they sell did fantastic, all launched within the last 24 months because they said, hey, this business that we were concentrating on isn't working, so we pivot and we start doing this other stuff. And they did a fantastic job of it. And we set up this trade. And I said, look, we cashed out because of the uncertainty of the banking crisis, but as we looked at them, weather that storm here, right? They were doing well here. They were being recognized early in the year. Then the financial crisis scared everybody. We jumped back in and said, well, great. You know, we got out at 7. We took our money off the table ahead of the banking crisis because we didn't trust it. So we took our money off the table. And then now we came back in at 5, which is where we came in the first time. What's wrong with that? Why do I don't have to ride out the downturn. I can sit out the downturn and wait to come back in. So that was our first official trade for the income portfolio with SoFi. That worked out well. But, you know, keep in mind we had that trade. Do I have any others? What is this? Treasury auction results. Don't need that, and we don't need that. I would have liked to have seen. Oh, there's our watch list. Joy. What joy. Here's our watch list. All right, so we'll take a look at that in a minute. BNTX, we'll see how they look. See now COVID's coming back in fashion, so I got some hope for these guys. We'll see how that one goes. We got Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, who we just got dissed by. Ooh, look at all that. That's terrible. Wow. When did that happen? April 24th. So we picked them on April 24th. This is not good, but it does mean that it's still available as a good trade. Holy shit. April 24th is way up here. They are down $5, like 10. They're only down almost 10% since we picked them. We thought they were ready to break up, and they can instead have come down a lot. The only fortunate thing is, though, that, sorry to top trade people, but just because we put them in here doesn't mean they made it to the portfolio. This didn't actually make it to the portfolio. Generac, well, we're going to go through all these guys in a minute. GNRC is another hidden gem. Problem with them, and this is the problem with any of these stocks. It's at $100. We got to really think hard before we put something in the portfolio, because the portfolios are generally pretty small. And we don't want to really overcommit by taking a lot of expensive stocks. So stocks that were in our long-term portfolio are now not really, they're too weighty for us to put into our current portfolios because they're so much smaller. The long-term portfolio had grown to like $3 million. And we had $3 million in cash in the short-term portfolio on top of that. So we had like cash up the ass. We didn't, we didn't care if we bought a $500 stock. It was no big deal. But now every penny counts. So where are we? Oh yeah. Not top trades. There, watch list. Whoops. What happened? Hello. Boy, all this bad stuff about Coke, huh? Actually, seems to be hitting it on the head. There we go. So back in December, late December, there's an easy way to look at what's going on. So ACAM's picking up. Allstate's still down. APD, not much going on there. APO, not much there. Broadcom flew up. A little silly at the moment, but Boeing has been flat. Wow. BCS theoretically should be a bank that stands up, but still people are still scared over there. Big Lots still dying. Booking, I don't know what to do with them. And again, because of the price, we're not touching them. Right? They don't fit in our portfolio. Not at $2,500 a share. Same thing goes for BlackRock. BGFG, not much movement there. BNTX, not much movement there. Berkshire, flat. This does not look like a healthy economy, right? Like most of our stuff is pretty bad. And these are known stocks. For the most part, these stocks were great performers last year. We have them in our portfolios for the most part. BXMT I like down here. I think they're really underrated. Boyd, I wouldn't chase it. Citibank is another one that should probably stick around. Cheesecake Factory, don't know why they're still so cheap. Caterpillar, always like Caterpillar when they get cheap. At 160 would be like, if they're 160, they're an automatic buy. Capital One Financial we like for sticking around. CIM, I like them. I gotta think about it. They cut dividends. That's what's killing them. CLF, again, that's an economic slowdown sign. Comcast is, just an alternate to Disney, essentially. It's got the same kind of concepts. Yeah, I mean, there's no urgency to take it. That's the thing. Coinbase, I think Coinbase is a survivor. I like them. If Bitcoin takes off again, we should probably jump on Coinbase. It's hard though, because it's $60. I don't really want a lot of $60 shares. Same problem with Crocs, too expensive. Not the stock. Stock's fine, but 112 a share is tough for us to put in that portfolio over and over again. Cisco, I like long term. It's sideways to benefit off the AI and robots and everything else. Chevron, I don't think I'd want to be in right now. Delta, good price for Delta. Dell, HP just had bad numbers, so Dell went down, which is really not fair to them. They didn't get a chance to talk about it. Disney, I don't know. It's really hard because there's two things going on at Disney. Well, the whole industry is screwed up because all streaming. I wrote a whole big article about streaming 2 weeks ago, like how streaming wars and how it's affecting everything. It's hard to make money in that sector anymore. It really is, and Disney has gone full guns into streaming, which you have to. Disney owns ABC, they own ESPN, and of course Disney stuff. So they've Disney, Star Wars, Marvel. Gotta market the shows. Gotta get it out there. So what's the point of having it if you're not going to do anything with it? But the problem is, the model is changing drastically, and it's very hard to adapt. And it's hard to figure out how to make money with all this new crap going on. Dick's Sporting Good, who cares? Dow Chemicals, kind of cheap. eBay's, I don't know if again, eBay, I'm not sure about the model anymore. It's another problem with AI. What do I need eBay for? It doesn't work yet, but I can basically say to my chat bot, I can say, I need this, I need that, find me this, go bid, bid on this, get me a used electric bike. He can't do it because he doesn't know, he's not connected to the net. But let's try to find, all right, let's see how Bing can do on this. Not you. Here you are. I'm gonna clean you up. Find me a used electric bike for $500 or less. Let's see if you can handle that. All right, so what is this? Let me see what these references are. Whoa, wow. Okay. So wait, what is this? That's eBay. That's future blah, blah, blahs. That's future blah, blahs. And that's e-bikes. All right, so what do I need eBay for? And what's going to happen, see, and again, this goes back to what I'm talking about. We're like, 200 years from now, we're going to seem like idiots for like even caring about stuff like this. You're going to have an AI bot in your phone. And you're going to say to your AI bot, you're going to say, sell my bike. I want to sell my bike. And your AI bot is going to go put out a note on the web saying that you're selling your bike. And it'll know all the specs, or if it doesn't know, it'll ask you and say, what kind of bike? If it can't see it, but it can probably see it by then. Or I've got, what is this thing on my desk? It's a scanner, I guess. I have some sort of scanner. I've never used it. I haven't used this thing. I think I've never used it. I got to tell you, it's just sitting on my desk. I guess I thought I would need a scanner for something at some point. So there you go. I could see the scanner laying here one day, and I say, so it's a Canon scanner. I bet it's like $100 or something. But I would say, oh, there it is. It's got a little serial number. So it says MG7720. If anybody would like a Canon MG7720 scanner. But the point is, all you do is tell your phone you want to sell something, and your phone will then say it's for sale, and it will negotiate the sale. It will take the price. It'll come back to you and say, oh, somebody's offered you this for it. Would you like that? Or I could have told it in advance. I want to sell it for no less than this much money. And it would go ahead and find it. And it would conduct its own auction. And I don't need to pay eBay a percentage of my profit. Same thing goes with Amazon. You know, when I want to buy Maltesers, which I do, it will, instead of going to Amazon and paying some outrageous price, which is almost entirely markup from Amazon. You know, the people selling it are selling it at a reasonable price. It's just by the time it gets to me, it's insane. And you know, so these things are going to be negotiated around these companies. Amazon is going to be in big trouble. You know, UPS will figure out their way to negotiate with the bots for shipping rates and so on and so forth. Because they're going to start losing their big customers. Their big customers rely on people being trapped into their system. That it wasn't possible before for us to do these negotiations by ourselves, right? But if I have an inventory of things that I might want be willing to sell for the right price, and I just go about my daily business, and one day my phone bings me and says, "Hey, so and so wants to buy your scanner for $100." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great. I'm going to box it up." I'll go to the UPS store. They'll have they have the boxing service anyway. They'll box it for me and they'll send it out. End of story. So, you know, things change and they change really fast. And that's what I'm talking about today. That's like the you know, like the magician guy. It's freaking, I don't know, it's probably a hologram screeny sort of weird thing he does, but whatever he's doing, it's freaking amazing. It looks great. It's magic. And that's only magic that's been possible in the last couple of years. It's brand new kind of magic. And it's fun that we have like ways for people to go and show us that stuff. Like I love America's Got Talent for that reason. It's, you know, any kind of new technology that comes out and can be incorporated into a show, people seem to figure it out and get on AGT with it. That's kind of cool. But it also makes you realize how quickly things change and how fast the investing landscape changes. And it's our job to stay on top of that stuff. Oh, Embraer. Oh my God, I love their new jet. Those guys, Embraer. Fuel efficient jet. 190 fuel efficiency in mind, high aspect wing ratio. News. Let's call it news. Yeah, that thing. They got some cool stuff coming out, like really fuel efficient jets. This one's 20%. They had something like 50% more fuel efficient. Carbon neutral planes, Embraer. Maybe it's not them. 50% fuel efficient jet. Yeah, promise to be flying. Oh, from the Rob report. That's where I read it. I remember that. Oh, it's Jet Zero. I thought it was Embraer. Anyway, whatever the hell they're doing, it's like a whole new design. It's like a big triangle sort of plane, but 50% less fuel. And that's 2035. That's 10 years. They expect to be flying this thing. You know, and that you know, you got to stay on top of this stuff to know what to do. Here's Energy Transfer, one of the greatest investment, one of the best reliable companies to have. That's when we should really put in the income portfolio. Expedia is more travel, Federal Express. Yeah, you think of FedEx and UPS, they're not going to like come up with a better way to get you a package. That's where there's an efficiency thing, right? Because Amazon is not actually efficient. They're efficient for shipping from warehouses. But if my phone can handle all the details of doing a sales transaction, it can take the money, right? You can take your money with the phone. You can instead of you can do Venmo or whatever and send me the money. There's no friction there. So you can send me the money. You can get your product, and there's the labeling, the handling, everything else can be done for me. So the effort I take to send my stuff to Amazon for them to hold it is not necessary. That whole middleman operation is completely unnecessary, and that's what you have to realize what this is going to do. AI is going to cut out all middlemen. As it develops, there will be no need for all these middlemen in transactions, because the simple aspect of what middlemen do, which is connect buyers to sellers or whatever, shippers to receivers, whatever you want to call it, that will disappear. Because your phone will be able to handle logistics. Ford, obviously, I want to get Ford. I don't know about them. They're tough. Foot Locker we did get, and we paid the price. That's been our big problem so far. They're just testing 25 now. Hopefully it'll hold. Frontline, I did not like. They just had bad earnings. I'm like, how can you not make money in this market? How can you not make money with what's going on? GE having their moment. Not going to chase it. Gilead has to be way lower for me to be interested. GLW is low. I think they're still probably a viable thing. Generac I like. Gold is coming back to where we want to buy it again. Google, I don't trust Google anymore. I think their model is under attack. I think AI is bad for Google's model. What's their model? You look up something on Google and they show you ads. That's their model. Break down the company. That's what it is. They're going to lose market share. They're going to lose market share to Microsoft. They're going to lose market share to other AIs that are just going to be on your phone. Apple's going to come up with a more AI version of Siri. Amazon's going to have a more talkative version of Alexa. I think they're going to have some problems. Halliburton, I wouldn't bother with. HBI, I think, is really stupidly valued down here. Honeywell, always a good one, but too. Yeah, again, the problem was paying $200 a share. HP just had a disappointment. No, HP was good. I'm sorry, it's HPE, which is enterprises of HP. They did not do well, but HP itself actually did pretty good. But people sold it anyway. Almost 5% down today. It's awful. IBM always great. If we can, again, it's expensive. Problem is expensive, but it's hard not to like IBM when it's down around the 120s. Here's Icon. Wow. Oh, poor Carl Icahn. Look at what happened to him. We don't know if it's true or not there. Intel we just bought and it's taking off, thank God. International Paper is kind of cheap. ISRG is too expensive for us to play with right now. IVZ is cheap enough. Jack in the Box. Again, it's not. I don't see the upside for paying that kind of money. Jets is a better way to play the airlines probably than picking any single airline. JP Morgan, we picked it. I think it's too expensive for the portfolio. We might have put it in one of them. JWN, I want to see another report. We were just talking about today. I think they're getting viable right now. Kraft Heinz, don't care. Lebu, don't care. Levi, stupidly cheap. Logitech is back to being stupidly cheap. Lovesac being stupidly cheap again. Oh, this is nice. Low, too much. 200, I wouldn't pay it. LYB again, 85 is not worth getting in. LVS, I don't know what's going on with these casinos. Oh, no, actually, the casinos. Raise the odds. Yeah, there you go. So I mean, see, here's it. This is This is why I read a ridiculous amount of stuff. That's not going to work. Oh, how stupid. Allow ads. It's like, the casinos in Vegas have made the odds worse so they can make more money. Now, it's funny because I knew a girl who worked for a casino, and she was in the statistics department for the casino, and it was her job to monitor the slot machines. She monitored everything, but I mean, they were mostly they would adjust constantly the slot machines in order to make sure the house always won. And that was her actual job, which was a fun job, actually. I used to love looking over the numbers, which I wasn't supposed to do. But it was just so fascinating to see how they control every aspect. They control the payout of every single machine. And I'm sure you've heard this. There are certain machines in high traffic areas that they place strategically, and they set them to pay out more often, so that people are constantly like walking by a machine that pays out. They, like when you first walk into the casino and you're standing at the lobby, you hear ching, 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 because they've got certain machines around there that will pay out twice as much as other machines. And that's to draw people in, because then you say, oh, I hear all these machines paying out, I want to play, blah, blah, blah. You get your juices flowing when you're checking into the hotels in Vegas. But this is like really a lot of stuff is going on. They're as I said, they're drawing out the high value customers, and they're pricing out the people who don't have enough money to spend. They're trying to, they're just trying to fill the casino with people who have huge amounts of money to lose, and getting rid of the people. They don't want to keep the people who only have $100. They're like, good, give us your $100 and go. So they raise the odds on these games to make it terrible. The huge following massive dip in pandemic comes as tables, casinos hitting 21 for the first two cards. They lower the payouts for hitting 22. It used to be 3-2, now it's 6-5. That right there is a massive change. Blackjack was one of the more fair games because of that 3-2, make it fair. This is bullshit. They just cut the win in half. Because blackjack was one of the only games they could lose money on, because it's a fairly statistically even game. What else have they done here? They raise the minimum bets. That's another way to get rid of the small players, right? You raise the bets, people walk right out. 2/3 of tables on the strip are 6-5. Running Man table is expensive, and the minimum payouts are required. Some get most complaints, oh, it's almost not worth flying to Vegas to play that. Yeah, they don't want you to fly out and win. That's the whole point. Some players have complained that the casinos have done exactly what they intended to do. So anyways, that's an interesting thing, and that bodes well in the end, though, when you go back to it now. So then you say, and by the way, this is what this is for me what I use the watch list for. It's like it reminds me of all the stuff I've been learning. So as days go by, I learn things. So the odds in Vegas will improve. I don't like LVS is too high, but BYD was not so bad, I believe. And let me double check that. Nope, BYD is still pretty high. And we don't have CZR. What does CZR look like? If I liked it, it would have been there, though. Here's Caesar is not performing well. But on the other hand, maybe it's worth a look, right? Win is down. All right, so CZR is in theory the least expensive casino, but then there's a reason for that, and that's because relatively they suck. It's hard to tell though with Caesar because they keep going bankrupt, and so you're never sure if they still have debt or not. They're why does it say Polo Loco? Do they own Polo Loco, or is that just like a weird mistake? $9 billion market cap. No, see, look at this shit. Why would you pay $9 billion for this? They in none of these years did they make more than $100 million, and they lost $2 billion and another billion and another billion on top of that. So they sure as shit know how to lose money. They don't make it. Massive debt, massive debt. Oh, that's a big one. If you ever see that, run away. They don't have any working capital. That means that they are, in fact, they are going to have to get money. They got to do something to raise money. They don't have working capital. They have $24 billion in debt when all they made in their best year, even including this year in their projections, is $100 million. 5% of 24 billion is $1 billion of interest. How are these guys going to get on their feet? This thing's a disaster. And that's after they've been bankrupt a few times. Where's my buddy? How many times has CZR been bankrupt? So that's why they're not on our list. I don't think paying out a little bit less at the blackjack table is going to save them. Only ones? No. It doesn't sound right. Same question for Google. A misunderstood bankruptcy. Caesars wraps up bankruptcy case in 2017. That's what I thought. There was another one. Supercar Hertz bankruptcy. All right, so it's 2017, 2015, unless that was the same bankruptcy and it just took that long. But anyway, so they you know, they're a company that's been willing to totally screw over the shareholders. All right, anyway, I can't keep going because oh, we're not on C, but we were on whatever. Anyway, you get the idea though. We just got to go through it. But the point is we learn new things, we get new ideas, and then something hits me, like something changed that makes me want to pull the trigger on, no, there we were. Makes me want to pull the trigger on something or other. MDT, I love them down here. Met, I like down here too, probably. Facebook, no thank you, got away. MGM, oh, there's a casino stock we like. So MGM we want to look at for a casino. Middleby I like too. Moderna, if COVID comes back, they could really take off. MT Steel, I like them down here. Netflix, we'll see how it goes with their new password crackdown. Nike, no thank you. NRG, not sure. NOY, yes. NYCB is one we already bought. OMI, OLN, Paramount we just added. Tetrabas is good. PFE. Oh, Pfizer for sure down here. Absolutely. I think we already bought them too. PM, Pru, guy, we just got to look at these insurance companies and pick one. Oh, Qualcomm. Look how far Qualcomm is behind Broadcom. There's a reason to pick. There's a pickup. See, and you know, when you see Broadcom take off and you go, oh, we missed it. Look at Qualcomm's laying around doing nothing. They're very, very similar companies, very, very similar reasons they're going to make money. Rail, no, not if nobody can make money in transports. RH 245, I would love it. Transocean got away already. Rio is another one to pick if we get out, if we pass this recession. Sig, I don't trust. Oh no, that's a jeweler. Sorry, Jermaine. Signature jeweler I like, but if they come down, SKT, I love these guys. Schlumberger, SoFi, my baby, Sony, SPG, I love them. SunPower, we just added them also. Too cheap at that price. These guys are too cheap. STLA, SWK is good here. SY. Oh, there's so many freaking things to buy. T has to be bought. Do we not have that in our portfolio? Wow. Target, there's one we're thinking about. Target's almost to the point where it's really like you kind of have to buy it. Toyota, oof, what a cheap price for Toyota. T-Mobile, don't trust. Trox is good, I like them. This is a cheap travel site, very cheap travel site. TTE, I love them, but they're expensive. Couple, we're getting killed, just melting away. Oh, almost done. TWO is a good REIT. UHS, I guess, is, I wouldn't chase them. Vale, Vulcan. Oh, WBA, love them. Boots, Walgreens, I mean, Walgreens in America. And Whirlpool, gotta love Whirlpool. People need appliances. Walmart, you know, why is Walmart here and Target's there? It doesn't make sense. Williams Sonoma, I like them too. I like WY. I like X if economy doesn't break. Xerox is good down there, and our Yeti's nice and cheap still too. ZS is picking up a little bit. So that's where we are there, and then we look at the beige book, and we say Fed beige book. See, that's AI. You start typing and it knows what you want. That's AI. But Google's AI has been focused on doing that simple little function, and they never really bothered developing it much further because it does exactly what they want. It takes you to a page where there's, well, not when you say the Fed beige book, but usually they'll take you to a page where there's advertising or promoted links. And what is promoted here? Twitter beige book. You're not going to see sponsored links for the beige book. That's the bottom line. But ideally, when you put something in, that's what it does. Fed beige book. So we're going to take a look at that and see how they're doing. Commonly known as the beige book, May 31st, HTML. This report was done. How are you doing? How's Mr. Chat GPT? Are you ready? Let's start a new chat. Yes, yes. Okay. Okay, that's all we need. You'll see. Please summarize and analyze the Fed's beige book. We are looking for an overall view of the current and future economic conditions. There you go. Why should we read it, right? Wow. Oh, it's already writing. See, now you can trust him. First of all, I've trained Warren. This is Warren. I've trained Warren to, well, look, where is this stuff? This isn't even everything, but I mean, I've trained Warren, and I constantly train him on what to look for, what's important, how to interpret things, so on and so forth. So I really have gotten to trust him a lot as far as doing analysis and so on and so forth. So the Fed's Beige Book provides summary analysis. Here's an overview of the market's overall economic activity. Activity was largely unchanged in April and early May. 4 districts reported small increase, 6 reported no change. 2 reported slight declines. Okay, so this is key. 4 districts, small increases. That's not good. 6 reported nothing, flat, and 2 reported declines. So certainly nothing exciting about economic activity. Expectations for future growth deteriorated slightly, but overall still expect expansion. That's not a recession. Consumer expenditures were steady or high with growth and spending in leisure and hospitality. Education and health care saw steady activity. Manufacturing activity was flat. Supply chain is improving. Demand for transportation services was down. We just saw Frontline surprisingly missed by a lot. Residential real estate activity picked up despite low inventories, while commercial construction and real estate actively decreased. That's not good. Outlooks for farm income fell. Energy activity was flat to down. Financial conditions were stable or somewhat tighter. There were concerns about rising consumer loan delinquencies, which I was talking about this morning, and increased demand for social services. People are running out of money. That's the biggest problem we have right now. Labor markets, employment and increased in most districts, but at a slower pace. Labor market remains strong, but there were signs of cooling. We have non-farm payrolls on Friday, don't forget. Difficulty finding workers reported across various skill levels and industries. Still labor shortages. Labor market cooled in construction, transportation, and finance. Finance, we know we had a lot of layoffs, right? Some contacts reported pausing or hiring, reducing headcount due to weaker demand of economic uncertainty. Wages grew modestly. And again, don't forget, you got to take into account this is being affected by the shutdown nonsense. Prices rose moderately, still rising, but the rate of increase slowed. Consumer prices continue to rise due to solid demands and rising costs. Non-labor input cost rose, but cost pressures had eased. So consumer prices rise. Everything's rising. Inflation. Home prices and rents rose, while some price sensitivity by consumers was no. So everything, prices are still going up and up and up. Analysis. Beige Book indicates the overall economic activity was relatively stable with a slight deterioration in expectation of future growth. Consumer spending in leisure and hospitality showed growth, while the manufacturing sector improved and supply chain issues eased. However, transportation experienced decline in demand, particularly in trucking. Residential real estate activity picked up despite low commercial construction and real estate activity decreased, with the office segment being a weak spot. Foreign income outlooks fell and energy activity remained flat. The labor market continued to be strong, although there were signs of cooling in some districts. Employers reported difficulty finding workers. Price increases moderated. Non-labor input cost rose. Some contacts reported easing cost. Overall, mixed economic outlook. While there were positive trends in consumer spending, manufacturing, employment concerns remained regarding transportation, commercial real estate, farm. Inflationary pressures persisted. The labor market remains tight, although hiring cooled in some industries. So nothing really here, nothing to see here, basically. Let's see if it's even possible for Bing to comprehend this. I don't think he can take this kind of input, but let's see. Give him a new topic so he's not confused. This is way past what his usual limit is. Oh, good job. I don't like that he's searching for the Beige Book, though. I just gave it to him. See, that's bad. Now you see what happened? The input was too large, so he just took what he heard with Beige Book, and now he's trying to put it in. This is the danger of it, right? Because if you don't pay attention, that's what this stuff looks like. Nope. Very, very bad robot. Let's see what we can do here. How about if I ask you to read it? Copy link address. Oops, back to Bing. Are you still typing? Jeez. Dun, 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 dun. Most districts, similar pace. Okay, this is his take as of, what report was this? November 30th, so the end of last year. The U.S. economy has lost some momentum due to combined effects of interest rates, inflation, supply chain disruptions, while some sectors, travel and tourism, and resilience, other manufacturing, real estate, and banking experience slowdowns or declines. The labor market remains strong, it's cooled somewhat. The outlook for future growth deteriorated a little. Beige Book provides valuable insights to the economic conditions across things. His analysis is nowhere near as good as Warren's, and his whole thing is, see, that's the thing, is like Warren knows to read what I tell it. He's just like randomly making shit up, which is really disturbing. It is May 31st. I can't believe it's May 31st, 2023. And this is the current Beige Book. Please analyze. And see if you can do that. Now that's something that Warren can't do. Although I haven't upgraded because I didn't, I want to be able to use it and know how everybody, the general people, are using it. But at this point, I think I have to upgrade because now they're basically saying that if I pay them $20 a month, I will be able to get current information out of Warren. And that's a game changer, really. I mean, that's the only reason I use Bing. It's just because I can't, because Warren has a cutoff of 2021. Okay. Let's see what he says about this now. Economic activity, moderate pace, previous report, most experts reporting modest gains. Consumer spending increased further, led by strong growth in leisure and holiday. It sounds like the other report. Residential real estate, this is not the same report. You bastard. What is he referring to here? Oh, I see. He says he's referring back to this report. This is interesting. Consumer spending increased further. Non-financial service activity grew modestly with strength in professional business. Residential real estate remained robust. Commercial real estate activity improved slightly. I just think he's not as nuanced at reading this thing. Bank lending volumes and loan demand generally declined across consumer business. Agricultural conditions are mixed with some improvement in crops. Let me see that. Agriculture conditions slowed. And Bing says, this is agricultural conditions are mixed with some improvement in crop conditions, but ongoing drought and pest. He's just making that shit up. I hate that. That is so freaking annoying. Where did we find this? Oh, maybe he says it somewhere else. Agriculture, energy demand was robust. Agriculture slowed. Agriculture section weakened slightly, San Francisco said. Low to export were mainly driven by agricultural lower value commodities as well as rolling stocks. Agriculture conditions softened. Conditions softened since previous report. Demand for cotton was weak. Many farmers plant less cotton, produces poultry, meat, blah, blah, blah. Expectations, incomes fell, prices moved forward. Corn and soybeans. Rapid fieldwork planting heightened expectations. Hard wheat. Okay, hard wheat prices rose due to drought affecting much of the U.S. wheat crop. Okay, I got to give him that. Now, we didn't give Warren this information. We didn't go this deep into that report. Let's see. Agriculture context in Memphis, wages were still rising. Overall agriculture context survey that their costs, including labor, have increased. Raw crops planted, expected, reporting up slightly. Only one mention of drought so far. It's very limited. South Dakota workers. What? Gas is rising to the point where I can't afford it. Okay, see, they're very anecdotal in this report. That's the problem with the beige book. Yeah, I think he's making it up. So this is a state-by-state breakdown of their various things, of each state's conditions. Remains strained by drought. Nope, it's true. There is drought in a couple of sectors now. Interesting. So he actually might have read this thing. He just read further than the first report was. Good job. Energy industry increased modestly with higher oil prices, supporting drilling activity, but lower natural gas prices weighing on inflation. Labor market and wages employment increased moderately in most, but labor shortages remain widespread, severe across industrial skill levels. Many contacts reported difficulties in finding qualified workers, especially low-wage positions. See, he read much more of the report than Warren did, so he's actually doing a pretty good job, I think. Wage growth accelerated moderately since the previous report, as many firms do wages. Prices increased at moderate pace. So it's better to give Bing the link than to actually give him the information, whereas Warren can't even process the link. So I guess that's that. I'm going to have to sign up for the plus version of ChatGPT, because that's like crippling him to not be able to access the web the way that Bing can. It is the same basic program. They're both ChatGPT. Bing is just basically giving it more access than you have on the other one. So anyway, so no big information in the beige book, nothing conclusive. The market is relieved, I guess, that it isn't worse. And the dollar's come down quite a bit, so that's been helpful also for the day. And we will see what shakes out, but we're gonna keep going through that watch list. We're gonna figure out which stocks we want to add to our portfolios. Probably not tomorrow or Friday, but I think first thing next week we'll do the next part of our $700 a month portfolio, and then we will move right along to and then we have another bunch of things that we're going to fill out in the other portfolios to get things rolling. If things don't collapse, but we do have plenty of hedges. We're not worried about it, and we will see what happens. And there's obviously plenty of things to buy. And that's the thing about the watch list. That's you know, as long as more than half of the watch list is low and in a good position to buy, then we're not in a rally and we're not missing anything. You know, if there's a rally like tech, like Broadcom took off, but Qualcomm is still sitting around. So if Qualcomm takes off and then other tech stocks take off, and then there's nothing, and then I'm like, oh my God, we missed the whole tech sector, and then all of a sudden retail stocks start taking off. That's when you start going, oh, I'm going to miss something. We better grab the stuff that's left. But they're all going to go up in a good market, all of them. So you don't need to freak out that you're going to miss anything. It's like we're only going to miss anything when there's more than 2 horses out of the gate. Right now, the race hasn't even started yet. Okay, well, this is like a race where all the horses are lined up and one of them like kicks the gate open and goes crazy, and then a couple of other horses start freaking out, but they're still behind their gate, and then they have to wait until you push the horse back in that went crazy. That's what this is. You know, NVIDIA was the crazy horse that jumped out of the gate with a phenomenal report and say, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean that every horse should be going. Let the race start. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's no serious evidence of a getaway rally, and certainly not one that justifies the valuations we're at now with all these stocks. All right, so thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. And we shall do this again next week. And it will already be June. That is crazy. Crazy, but true. All right, take care, everybody.